I first knew about Islam when I was 16.
Right.
Like really revert lah, I would say in a sense.
Oh, okay. Mashallah.
There's this brother, alhamdulillah, like he somehow pulled me back to Islam lah. I can say number one, actually the adults memorize better than the kids.
Oh, mashallah.
Wow,
That's a surprising
that's a hot
observation.
Yeah, man.
This
Tell us
is
more.
one of my discovery, biggest discovery ever, and I've been telling people all about this point. So yeah, you know, when emotion is there, it's very powerful. Any event in your life, does not necessarily mean Quran. Any event that have emotions, you can remember actually. Yeah. So this is a super awesome tips.
Yeah, I love that.
Try to put emotions.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man tabi'ahum bi ihsanin ila yaumiddin. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Ahlan wa sahlan marhaban bikum. So alhamdulillah, for today's podcast discussion, it will be titled How to Memorize Quran as an Adult. Cannot.
And for this episode,
MashaAllah, it's also the first time we have it on live session in our Barakah Effect podcast. Yeah, MashaAllah. So we're looking forward to it. The setup might be a bit laid back, but the title we're going to talk about is actually indeed very serious. Yeah, as Allah mentioned in Surah Al-Ankabut verse 49 that bal huwa ayatum bayyinatum fi suduril ladina utul ilm, that Allah preserved Quran by putting in the hearts of the believers who had knowledge. So today we're gonna have a special person. We feel very privileged, very entitled today to have him talking about it. So here's our special guest, Ustaz Zul Hilmi.
Okay, so Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi
So I
wabarakatuh.
suppose just a bit of intro, yeah. So my name is Muhammad Zul Hilmi bin Yongli alias Samli. People call me Ustaz Zul. So I'm from Akar Academy, one of the teacher of Akar Academy. So Akar Academy is actually I would say a new school. We started a few months back, alhamdulillah. Inshallah it's a Sunnah school, and we are in collaboration with Khaadem. We work closely with Khaadem to make this school a Sunnah school, inshallah. Yeah.
Mashallah, awesome. Love to hear more about it.
MashaAllah, you mean like you also like do like Hafiz programs for
Oh yeah. So we have a few programs. We have the Tahfiz program where the kids are memorizing the Quran. We also have I would say the Islamic studies, where of course where they learn the Deen, the Aqidah, Fiqh, Hadith, and lastly of course we have also the fun part lah, where we expose the students with national standard sports, I would say, because all of our coaches, alhamdulillah, are national standard coaches like volleyball, soccer.
Wow.
We have ex-player of Malaysia, Brother Bunyamin Omar, and others, alhamdulillah.
MashaAllah, yeah, rings a bell.
They're coaching us, alhamdulillah.
MashaAllah, so
Actually, I'm
you
sending my kids already.
exactly, perfect timing, brother.
Okay.
So, MashaAllah, you're saying that the Quran Hadith is going to be the integral part of the curriculum for the school?
Correct, because we believe in holistic education, where we're not supposed to only learn academics or only learn Quran, but the integration of both.
MashaAllah, in our eyes, you're like the heroes, you're like the girls.
Inshallah.
Because there was a scholar that mentioned that people the Hufaz, or the scholars, the one who preserve the Quran and Hadith, they are like the guardians of revelation on earth. And MashaAllah, we hope your school will further prosper and at your helm.
That's the hope, inshallah.
Ameen. Mashallah. Alhamdulillah. So, brothers and sisters, this episode is a special episode for two reasons. Number one, it's the first ever time that we're collaborating between Khaadem and the Barakah Effect. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
And Ami and I, as you've probably listened to our Barakah Effect first episode, we have many fond memories. So we spoke about the center that we met each other. This is the one.
MashaAllah.
Plot twist.
Oh, exactly. This is where both of us met, where we bring our families brought us actually here, and that's where we most of us learn the Deen starting from here. MashaAllah, fond memories since young.
Inshallah. Well, of course, this didn't exist back then.
Indeed,
So
indeed.
this
Yep.
is
The lightings as well, yeah. Must have changed for the good.
MashaAllah, Allahumma barik. And the second reason as well is because, as Ami said, this is the first time we're doing this face to face. So normally, we do things over Zoom. And just a bit of inside info, we always have our notes in front of us. So it looks like we're looking at the camera, but actually Ami is looking at his notes. And
That's
so am
right. Or the Malaysian call it the toyol, you know?
Toyol,
Don't
that's
leave
the one.
your house without it. Yeah?
Right. So we're all outside of our comfort zone now. And fun fact, it's also outside of the comfort zone for Ustaz Zul, because this is the first time he's ever doing a podcast, especially in English.
Yes,
right?
yes. I never had this kind of session before because I always watch you guys from back then. Alhamdulillah, I've been a obedient follower. I would say
mashallah.
I've been following you guys from the start. Actually, I met Brother Faisal from one of the Strap of Convention, the Safina, what call that? The ship.
Right, the Sunnah.
Yeah,
right,
so
right.
actually I got caught with your
2018.
story about when you mentioned about one of your you shaving your you remember that story?
Oh yeah, I did.
One of your
keeping the beard at the
hardship
workplace.
in the company, right?
Oh,
Then
mashallah,
I got
still
caught to
remember
that story, and I started following you on Instagram, Facebook, and the Barakah effect until today. Alhamdulillah.
Wow, alhamdulillah. So Allah met us here.
yeah.
High five. Long distance high five. Oh, here we go.
I've been inspired actually to start this kind of thing, but never had the chance before lah. But alhamdulillah, now I'm here.
Yeah, mashallah.
Yeah,
So for the information of brothers and sisters out there, Ustaz Zul and I, we met for the first time at the recent Al Khaadem Youth Camp. So we met here just before we took off. And then throughout the journey, Ustaz Zul shared some personal stories about his journey in Quran. And I was like, man, we gotta get this on tape, man.
You gotta have it.
And here we are, alhamdulillah. Allah made it easy for us. And you just arrived from a long distance travel yourself,
from Pahang, alhamdulillah.
Okay, mashallah, alhamdulillah.
The weather is nice. It's not too hot out there. It's just nice for the podcast today.
Yeah, mashallah. So the topic today is how can we memorize Quran as an adult? So what we want to have some is like, what we want to achieve here is that so we can motivate our listeners on how we can memorize the Quran, especially for people who, Ami and myself, we feel like we kind of left the bus. You know, we felt like, you know, we're disadvantaged. We didn't go to tahfiz school when we were younger. So like, you know, I mean, is that it? So I feel a lot of people out there can also relate to this. And I think there's also that feeling about, you know, whether I can do this. And sometimes, you know, what practical tips you can do this? Yeah. We're all busy people. We all have jobs. We all have family to take off. And how can we, you know, find little nuggets of time and we can commit to this?
All right.
Yeah. Indeed, that's right. Yep. Yeah. Rather than making excuse for the shortcomings we have, sometimes you just gotta bite the bullet and just march forward. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think I can share some of my past experience. So number one, I consider myself to start memorizing Quran a bit late compared to the younger students because I started actually when I was 20.
20, yeah.
I started memorizing Quran when I was 20, and normally people send their kids to tahfiz when they're like small, like
7 years old,
7, like
right?
10, and even 13.
Right.
But I started 20, so because I used to not have the interest to do so, because Quran, memorizing Quran is always not for us lah.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. So even my a bit of my background. So I used to be in a church school, not like Islamic school.
Church school, huh?
Yeah,
Where was
so
that?
Like a mission school, you mean?
At Sabah. I'm from Sabah, right?
Sabah, right.
So even then,
Sabah has lots of this, right? If
correct,
you go around
correct.
in Sabah, you see
it's a thing like even in my district, Papar, there's only one masjid there and there's a lot of churches, right?
Wow.
But alhamdulillah, so I managed to join this church school. It's a good school actually, but I took science. I didn't took like Islamic studies. So I graduated. I finished my SPM also in science. Then I tried, because back then when I was 16, 17, I started to have interest in Islam, like learn Islam and all thing. But I even tried to apply all the Islamic universities and also Islamic studies path.
So for context, you did have an interest in Islam.
When
it's
I
just
was
that you never committed to the memorization.
when I
of
was
Quran back
16,
then.
I was 16. I first knew about Islam when I was 16.
Right.
Like really revert lah, I would say in a sense.
Oh, okay.
And
Mashallah.
there's this brother, alhamdulillah, like he somehow pulled me back to Islam lah, because back then I didn't know about I didn't pray, like I didn't know about Quran, and because it was not taught like in my life, right? So but then coming back to this point, so I even applied, but of course by having SPM, like science SPM subjects, I couldn't go into any of the Islamic field lah. But after that, alhamdulillah, when I was having my degree in Unimas Sarawak, from your place.
Yay, Sarawak.
Samarahan, but along the way, actually I applied for few tahfiz also. Only after 2-3 years, I got accepted to one of the tahfiz institution at Klang.
So just to summarize this, so that passion you had for the deen since you were 16 or so.
Yes, correct.
So you kept on having that even though after all those years studying all those things.
Even along the way, I tried to memorize a bit.
In your own personal.
my personal effort lah. So
Okay.
I managed to memorize one juzuk from Al-Baqarah. It was not strong, but the self-effort lah.
Okay.
Then I have that interest. I couldn't find the formal way, I would say.
But in your mind, it's like always, I need. You're
Correct.
still committed to it.
Yeah, I want to be like in
Wow,
Islamic somewhere somehow lah.
Wow, this guy who inspired you at 16, like he was someone in your school.
Can. No, he is actually someone already working back then.
Okay.
So he has this like youth movement thing.
In Sabah back then.
Islamic,
in
yeah.
your hometown.
So in
nice.
our place in Sabah. So he just called people to come to pray, go to campings, like play futsal. But all the fun stuff. But all these
Big
things.
brother thing, yeah?
Yeah, mashallah.
Ooh, like a mentor figure.
Yeah,
huh?
but the way he treated me as a like a real brother lah. He spent a lot of money, time, just for me. Like I felt real special. You know, imagine me. I consider myself like as a boy back then.
Yeah.
I was the boy that if you meet me last time,
Yeah.
if I'm the boy like that. You meet like you say astaghfirullah. No, wallah, because
Okay,
I was not
that sounds like
Alhamdulillah. But then he somehow converted me to become someone better.
Whoa.
By just
Mashallah.
teaching me
That's
the deen. He
Wow.
doesn't teach me like academic tuition or nothing, but alhamdulillah, I graduated from my school, become the second best student. Second. So you imagine him transforming me in 2 years, 16, 17 was alhamdulillah my golden years in my life. So he changed my lifestyle. I started praying. I started doing all that thing, right?
Wow.
Then somehow my academic and my life become much way better. Alhamdulillah.
Mashallah.
Keep in touch with him?
Yes, still alhamdulillah. Even last time actually his son, he sent his son to my school. Alhamdulillah. So
And his
yeah.
family as well.
Yeah, alhamdulillah.
I feel jealous of this guy already, man.
Mashallah, he's a low profile guy, I would say. Not famous, no one knows him, but he's very knowledgeable. And yeah, he's a big brother to me lah. Alhamdulillah.
That's
that's so
supposed to show
awesome.
that it's important to always have good akhlaq
Correct.
and always to do amal ma'ruf nahi munkar, no
Correct.
matter how small the deed is,
Yes.
no matter how insignificant you may think that person is, just do it.
Yes,
Just sow that seed.
mashallah,
Yeah,
mashallah.
you might never know. It might grow and arms and legs in the future.
Correct, mashallah.
And I like your point. You said it's a very low profile guy. Probably we don't know his name,
Correct.
but Allah knows his name.
Mashallah.
And anything good that comes through his hands, through you,
Yeah.
through your students,
From him, yeah.
it's all from him.
Mashallah.
MashaAllah.
Yeah.
I love this guy already, man.
Yeah.
Mashallah, that's so
Tabarakallah,
cool, man.
yeah.
Mashallah. Okay, sorry. So yeah, so where we are now?
Yeah, so I just like a bit, maybe I cut short a bit.
Sure.
So actually, I got accepted to one of the tahfiz here in Selangor, alhamdulillah.
Okay.
So I started my journey,
So you've been
but
applying.
I've been
all this time
applying,
you're
yeah.
studying aquatic science, right? You were saying.
yes, I have. I took my degree in aquatic science.
Wow.
So yeah, but all the time I've been applying other places.
Wow, you kept at it, huh?
Rejected all the time. So this place is a bit special because mashallah they take students without that Islamic background, with the condition we have to retake our SPM. So actually I retake my Arabic language SPM actually.
Oh,
So
mashallah.
I took my second SPM 2017. Alhamdulillah I managed to get good result. Alhamdulillah.
Mashallah.
It goes to show perseverance does pay, yeah, guys.
It's off, man.
Yeah. So I started a bit late
Wow.
alhamdulillah, but not that late, not at your age, but I consider 20 is also a bit late lah.
From the
Yeah.
norm in the society. Yeah.
From the society. Alhamdulillah, but alhamdulillah.
I have to say though, I really admire that because I do know people who they want something. So for example, we know friends who wanted to study in Medina, but they read some roadblocks. They can't read Arabic or
Correct.
something. You can get help, and then they give up.
Correct.
And then they lost. They
Lost interest.
lost the opportunities, man. But you, despite the attempts,
Alhamdulillah.
right? Mashallah.
Actually,
Wow.
funniest thing about the Medina University, right? So I think I applied.
Oh, you have a story too.
Yeah, just a short one.
Serious, yeah.
I applied more than 6 times. Qadarullah.
Did you?
Yeah, didn't.
Wow. How old you?
That-
So this was this age, around
From
this age.
no, from after school. When I first have that interest of Islam, right?
Wow.
I tried, but the funny story is I helped my friends. I applied for my friends, few of my friends. Everyone is there now.
MashaAllah.
So my juniors, my friends are there. So but Qadarullah is not me.
But the effort that counts. The effort.
Inshallah. So
It's a side story, you know. Our fellow podcaster, Brother Shami.
Yep.
Interesting. He actually didn't initially he knew Sheikh, one of the Sheikh from Medina, who was recruiting like Malaysian students.
mashallah.
So he initially didn't really want to go because he already had a family. So he was bringing people to meet the Sheikh to interview to study there. But eventually, alang-alang, like he also go.
Just fill out the form.
And he's the only one who went.
Mashallah.
Everyone else didn't go. Qadar Allah, So like,
Yeah, qadarullah. So all these qadarullah.
amazing, mashallah.
Okay,
Wow, cool.
But coming back to your question, number one actually, I believe, I believe in the late bloomers, I would say, because throughout my experience, because last time I used to handle tahfiz education for the adult, not for the kids.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So based on my personal data and studies, right, I can say number one, actually the adults memorize better than the kids.
Oh, mashallah.
Wow,
That's a surprising
that's a hot
observation.
take. Yeah, man.
This
Tell us
is
more.
one of my discovery, biggest discovery ever, and I've been telling people all about this point because now, why?
Yeah.
Why adult memorize better than the kids?
Yeah.
When I say this, I actually experimented both because I have our school, right. So our kids is also memorizing. At the same time, we have the online tahfiz last time.
Okay.
So I also attended to these adults. I would say we have experts. We have the orthopedic experts. We have the bankers and all these backgrounds, right? Academic and professional backgrounds.
True.
So they only have 30 minutes a day.
All right.
So these guys, they only have 30 minutes a day to really have that time for Quran.
Mm.
But mashallah, our kids have 3 hours minimum. They have 3 hours. But after 1 year, I discovered number one, these adults, they memorize more in terms of quantity, more than our kids.
Wow.
Number two, they actually remember better than our kids.
I mean, they retain the
Even last time we have Ustaz Adli, mashallah, Ustaz Adli, we have the online session with Ustaz Adli. Ustaz Adli actually did a live test, random live test to our adults. The videos, I think I still have that video. They actually nailed it, mashallah. All the questions, mumtaz.
Wow.
What do you call it, like tebuk?
Yes, it was live. And this is adult from Singapore, from Malaysia.
Mashallah.
So so I came to like study a bit. I did some interviews. So number one, I discovered, of course, adults have better focus than our kids.
Okay.
Yeah. Before that, I think the biggest thing is the intention or the
The willpower.
the will. Our kids, some of them are forced to be in the tahfiz, and they don't have like that real powerful will inside, right?
The drive is
the drive. But the
okay.
adults, because if they want something, they can do it.
Wow.
So all these adults that I've been meeting, mashallah. Yeah, when I say this, their willpower is, one of my student, because we open like only 8 a.m. to 10 p.m.
All right.
One of my students said, Ustaz, I'm full. Because he's a doctor, orthopedic doctor expert.
Okay.
He only have 11 p.m. every day.
Mashallah.
So I talked to my boss. I said, I need to take this guy. So let's open one slot, special slot for this guy.
Wow.
Then I attended 11 p.m. every day. So me myself, I sleep late just for this doctor. But after after 2 months, he managed to memorize 1 juzuk. 2 months.
2 months.
Wow.
Mashallah. Guys, remember, brothers and sisters, he debunked the myth, the biggest myth, yeah?
So this is.
I had a secret agenda that I needed to have hope, and this has done that.
Yeah, because me myself as a youngster, right, I get my motivation from all these adults also.
Wow.
Even one of the auntie, right, I met one of the auntie. She started. This one is a different. When I was studying, I think I met one of this auntie from Yayasan Taklim. She was 49 when she started. But I'm 49 years old. Started memorizing with our sheikh.
I feel like uncle.
So we used to have our Sheikh Yusuf bin Salah, Hafizahullah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
she's
he's one of my Quran teacher back then.
Yeah.
So this auntie started 49 and she completed her memorization when she was like 61 or 62.
Wow.
So I met her when she finished.
About 12
So
years.
all that years,
12 years,
more
yeah.
than what, 13 years, right, of memorization.
Wow.
So yeah, when I saw her, back then I was just started, right. So I said, I tell myself, this auntie can, how can I cannot, right? Auntie 49 can, like me like 20 cannot, right? So yeah,
Wow.
I'm very like, it really hits me back then.
Nice.
So that's one of my initial motivation
Nice.
to complete my Quran.
I think that's where we're going to unlock what are the tips for to ease the memorization.
Yeah. Of course, number one, I would say like the willpower is having that will is the most important thing. You need to want to memorize first. Number one, the fact is, this is what I believe, and I've been telling everyone. Everyone has the capability to memorize Quran. Every single human being created in this world has the capability to memorize Quran. Why I'm confident? Because Allah mentions in Quran, from Surah Al-Qalam, وَلَقَدْ يَسَّرْنَا الْقُرْآنَ لِلذِّكْرِ فَهَلْ مِن مُدَّكِرٍ. Allah has created Quran to be easy for us to remember. From when we read the tafsir, right? Tafsir Al-Muyassar, Al-Mukhtasar, and all the others, one of the sharh, the scholar says, Allah has created Quran easy to memorize.
Wow.
Easy to memorize.
Yeah.
So, I believe so. Not necessarily we need to complete all the 30 juzuk, right?
In fact, sorry. In
Yes.
fact, Allah repeats that ayah multiple times. In
I
the
think
surah,
4
right?
times in that same surah.
Yeah,
4
yeah,
times in
yeah.
that same surah.
Yeah.
Surah Qalam, yeah. So, to emphasize. You know when Allah repeats something, really to emphasize.
Right.
So, yeah. So, this is, we have to believe, as a believer, as a mu'min, we have to believe this first. Allah has made the Quran easy for us to memorize. Okay, so this is a fact. So, yeah, coming to your question now, few tips, right? So, especially for the adult, I would suggest for you have to have your own Quran teacher. Not necessarily outside teacher. It can be your wife. It can be someone, your friend, best friend. But it has to be someone that can attend, like listen to you every day. Because you have to put like some schedule.
Right.
Maybe 5 times a day, 4 times a day,
Right.
5 times a week or 4 times a week.
Right.
But it has to be someone like dedicated only for your. I suggest you find like maybe online tafis. I used to join this few online tafis. One of the tafis I would recommend is maybe Omar Hafiz Center.
Right.
I personally joined even when I've already finished my Quran. I joined to strengthen my memorization. So I would say like you only need to spend 30 minutes a day in
30
your life.
minutes a day.
You have 24 hours, 30 minutes a day
Okay.
for this session. So and put commitment to it lah. So when I say put commitment, similarly like how we need to feed our body with food, right? Is a must. So you must have that same mindset. Quran is also the same thing. When you start that commitment, it's a food lah.
For your
Food
soul.
for your soul, yeah.
Right.
Food for your soul. Because trust me, like after you memorize one juzuk, right, you feel the difference in your life.
Yeah, can you
Imagine-
elaborate more about these changes in life?
Yeah, because
after you've
Masya
done the
Allah.
memorization journey, yeah.
Yeah. I can because you remember that brother I mentioned?
Yeah.
Yep.
So he started like quite simple. He asked me to memorize one ayat. I still remember the first ayat I memorized in my life after Al-Fatihah and all that. Backseat surah, right? Is surah 20 juzuk 21. I think surah Al-Azab ayat 21.
Okay.
Yeah, about our prophet being
Laqad
the
kana lakum fi
Rasulullah
Rasulillahi
uswatun
uswatun
hasanah.
hasanah. No.
So he asked everyone, like the members, the youth members back then, to memorize this ayat.
Okay.
Then he tested us actually. So back then, yeah, you know the youth, right? So when the leader says something, not everyone like do what he say lah. But I'm one of the I'm one of the one that actually he randomly test. I pass because when he says something, because he's someone I really respect, right? So when he says something, I really follow. So that was the first ayat I still remember until today, alhamdulillah.
MashaAllah.
So then he gave us the second ayat 2 months after. I think it was Surah Al-Imran, Surah Al-Imran, about 110. If I'm not mistaken, 110. Allah mentions in the Quran about
Kuntum khara ummatin.
yes,
ukhrijat
khairu
lin-nas.
ummah, correct.
Alright.
MashaAllah. So we have our Hafiz also here.
No.
MashaAllah. Yeah, kuntum khairu ummatin ukhrijat lin-nas. So there was a second ayat. Then I discovered it's not that hard actually. It's not that hard.
You just need one verse at a time. To
Yeah. So
kinda just
that
tell
was
yourself,
one of my
Okay.
So then I actually last time I memorized but with my fingers. So I actually
used to do that a lot. Okay.
I
wow.
counted.
Yeah,
For example,
yeah.
kuntum khayra
okay,
ummatin
that-
ukhrijat linnas ta'mur. I mean I tried to, because
Separate the words.
because in my mindset I actually tried to memorize a Malay sentence. I just counted 10. Saya suka makan nasi lemak, for example.
Right.
So then I tried to convert to Arabic. Same thing, five fingers. So why can't I memorize the Quran? I think like it's more to mindset lah.
Right.
Yeah, because we are.
So that was what work for you.
Yeah,
back then.
because the I think the society nowadays, when they see Quran, they're like, oh, this is heavy, this is, you know. But in the reality, I've been meeting a lot of youth nowadays. They memorize actually a lot of names, football players. They memorize a lot of songs,
That's true, man.
a lot of things.
Right.
This is the fact, right?
Useless stuff.
Yeah,
right?
useless thing. But
Right.
that's why I said in reality, Allah has created us
We have the
We have that
capacity.
capacity to every single human being in this world.
Gotcha.
That's why if you see the YouTube videos, Instagram, you see all that blind people, all that disability people, right? They can memorize Quran.
Wow.
Why can't we?
Wow.
Especially the adults, right? When they say, "Oh, I'm too late to start," we have living proof. Starting from the Prophet, he started when he was 40. Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. He was
That's a good
40
one.
back then,
That's a good one.
and he completed when he was 63.
Right.
Like more than 23
23
years.
years, yeah.
So similar like the aunties. You can go around in this world. There's a lot. I would say there's a lot. There's a lot of
Inspiring examples,
inspiring people. Not just here in Malaysia, like all over the world. They started very late, but man, I personally, when I see all these inspiring people, right, I can say like those who start a bit late, they are better in the end. Why? Because I have some of my friends. They took the highest level Quran test.
Right.
Now they become someone like they go to, even some of my friends who
Yeah.
fast. Now
Yeah.
they go to clubbings, Yeah. So this is sad reality.
Okay.
Because they don't really grasp the meaning behind it, like the Quran. They just memorize. They went to that school. After that school, they said, I'm free. I can do anything I want. So this is a sad reality among the Hufaz. Some of them actually divert to another way. I mean, their lifestyle.
Subhanallah.
Interesting. I was listen to this short advice by a scholar. He said that the end game is not about memorizing 30 juz. Yeah,
Correct.
it's about ending your life with you implementing the Quran as much as possible, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So the memorization is a journey that you undertook, right? So if you reach there, alhamdulillah, from the ni'mat of Allah, right?
MashaAllah.
If you don't reach there, at least you did your best. You say, when you meet Allah, I've done my best, right? Yeah.
Correct.
This reminds me of a quote from Sheikh Al-Albani, rahimahullah. Said,
Rahimahullah.
I think we said this before, but I love this quote so much. It says, the path to Allah is a long, long journey, and we cross like turtles, really, really slow. But the goal is not to reach the destination, is to die on the path.
MashaAllah.
Ooh, slam dunk, right? Drop. No, don't drop this mic. But Sheikh, I remember I just read recently. I think we spoke about this in one of our episodes about like having a relationship with the Quran. Omar al-Ashqar, the writer of the book, the Aqidah, his mother was illiterate for 70 years of her life. She cannot read or write. But when she was 70 years old, she had the intention to memorize Quran.
MashaAllah.
By the time she was 75 years old, she learned how to read and write and memorized the whole Quran cover to cover.
70.
70, Sheikh. 70.
Yeah, this is. I remember a quote by a scholar saying that.
Okay.
It's Sheikh Sa'ad Al-Kathlan say that there's no such thing as a weak or strong hafadan. It's just a trained or untrained hafadan.
Ooh,
Correct.
I love that.
I think
That's cool.
coming
Train
from
or
this quote,
untrained.
I can I wanted to say because when people say like, oh, you memorized the Quran, they ask me the question like, I said alhamdulillah, of course I have memorized the Quran, but even among the Hufaz we have levels,
Okay.
Similarly, like the coaches, we have expert coach, we have the normal coach, right?
Okay.
So
Like black belt, masterclass. Okay.
So if you want to say like experts, we can say some of my friends they are experts. Experts mean you go anywhere they can read. You just go anywhere,
Right.
random place. You can ask them any question, they can read anything from the 30 juz. I consider myself not that level yet because every time I want to become the imam, I have to like muraja, do my muraja'ah before I actually become the imam. So like that levels is also something people need to acknowledge. It's not like okay you finish then you
set for life.
Yeah.
Right.
Because it's something continuous. It's not
How you allocate that time, Ustaz, like between new memorization and the muraja of the old memorization?
Yeah, when you ask this question, it's about how much do you want to give in a day, for example. Like when I say like 30 minutes a day, 30 minutes is for that. For example, if you are someone new to memorization, right? The thing is, when you go to your teacher, you will first start with that new memorization. For example, today I am memorizing page 6, for example. Then after finish, you only like take 2-3 minutes maximum for that one page.
Right.
So in 30 minutes, we have like 27 minutes more, right? So the rest of 27 minutes is for your muraja'ah actually. So for example, today is page 6.
Revising the ones
Yeah, so
that
you
you
revise
normally
1 to 5.
Okay.
So when you reach page 30, for example, the new memorization is like 1 to 3 minutes. Then the rest is for you to just keep it going, the muraja'ah. And the muraja'ah is for me personally, it's more important than the new memorization.
Okay.
Yeah, because in the end, if you have the intention to become a hafiz of Quran, right? You want to really memorize, it's not about how much you send every day. It's about how much you preserve every day. Yeah, so that's the important part, because there's this thing like in the Tafiz life, people want to like speed things up.
Right.
So last time I actually joined one of the program in Indonesia, Karantina Tafiz. So in 40 days, mashallah, I managed to memorize 22 juz. 40 days.
Mashallah.
Yeah. So
Wow.
but I just be honest. After 3 months, I forgot most of it. I still remember the storyline and all the thing, but I cannot
The
read
specific words, right?
If you
'Cause
ask me
Quran's
to
got
become
precision,
yeah,
right?
correct. Imam
Right.
for that, I cannot.
Oh,
So it's not
that's so
about how
interesting.
fast we send,
Right.
how much we actually preserve from what we memorize.
What would be a comfortable target? Like say, like you want to challenge yourself, right? You don't want to have too little new memorization, but you also don't want to overburden yourself. What would be a comfortable target for beginners?
I would say for Allah created us with different capabilities. Depends on you actually. When we started our online tafiz, every single student have their own target. Some of our student want ayat a day. Some of our student 2 ayat a day. Some of them half page a day. Some of them go to the extent of 2 page a day. So depends on your level. But my advice, if you already put that number right, you have to commit. For example, I want to send half page a day. It must be half page all the time. You don't like, okay, tomorrow I want like 2 page, today half page, tomorrow 1 ayat. So just put one target and just commit to that target. And again, come back to your own readiness and your own capability. Yeah, I think I can do 2 ayat. Then you try. Two. After 2 months, if you see like you're very consistent and you feel like, oh, this is easy, you can add 3 ayat. After few months, okay lah, half page. Because by time, it's like, I believe brain is like your muscle lah. When you're pumping every day, it becomes stronger. This is what I discovered when I started memorizing Quran. Actually, this is one of the hack. I would say hack. How did I score my
Life
exam?
hacks. right.
Actually,
Let's hear it.
I discovered when I read my notes, I memorize a bit faster. You know, my notes. When I revise, I actually managed to memorize everything in just few minutes. My exam notes.
Oh.
So this is what I discovered. So how I get my good results are also. So every time before exam, of course I study all day long.
Right.
Before exam, I would write down all the short notes, the key points. I just half an hour. I go exam, I can repeat all that notes in all that key points.
Wow.
So I discovered this after 2 years of memorizing Quran. So yes, I can say brain is like your muscle. The more you pumping, you go to the gym, become stronger, become sado, you know. Like brother. Yeah. Last time, first time I met you, very small. Now, mashallah.
This is the lighting, Sheikh. Sheikh, I mean, subhanAllah, I love that point you said, like how you observe like the adults can memorize better. I think one of our friends who graduated from Medina, he said one of these things as well. One of the tabi'in, or was it one of the Sahaba, he said that, you know, it's not that kids are smarter than us, fundamentally. It's just that time, that's what they do. Correct. We have responsibilities. And then the Sahaba said this, man. That's so amazing. So, okay, now coming back to your point, you're saying because the adults have that high, like, you know, that aspiration, that drive. How about you? Tell us some of it, like, what drives you? I mean, you've gone through all that, like, you know, all this thing, you know, I tried this one, it's failed, I got rejected, this one. Most people are like, Sheikh, GG, man. But you kept at it.
Yeah.
So share some of that juice, man.
Inshallah.
Yeah.
I think before I share this juice, I want to share my I would say my down points in my life.
Yeah, that's
actually
it.
one of throughout my journey, actually there's one time I actually shut down for a while. So
Sharazi, you gave up, you kind of burn out, is it?
yeah, like burnout because I just stay in my room like for almost 2 months.
Wow.
I only go out for prayers and for me to eat.
Wow.
The rest I just stay in my room. Like I'm not sure lah. Back then they don't really call that depression thing. Like I'm not really sure what happened to me last time. But
This was in your 20s, yeah?
yeah, early 21, 22. So what happened is I actually like just have like burnout. I just don't want to do anything. I don't want to go to class. I don't want to go to anything. I just sleep. I look at the walls, you know. 2 months is one of my worst time in my life. So alhamdulillah, one of my friends is there also. He actually helped me get through this depression, I would say.
Wow.
And I actually asked one of the scholars, Sheikh Ibrahim Nuhur. Yeah, I actually asked him what happened to me. what was the cause? So Sheikh Ibrahim said, one of my mistake is I do a lot too much. Actually, too much is not also not good.
So you strike the balance, yeah.
Yeah, because last time I can share my 7 days a week. So I actually last time I took 3 diploma
MashaAllah.
in one time. In one time.
All together?
Yeah, all together. I took Yayasan
No
Taklim,
way.
I took IDT, Interactive Dawah Training, and
Okay.
I took my college. So college is the main one. Yayasan Taklim is the weekend program, and IDT is Tuesday and Tuesday and Thursday night.
Right.
I was single back then. I don't have car. I don't have nothing.
Okay.
So I took every single day. I took the train and the bus. So imagine Monday, Klang. Then Tuesday, IDT. Wednesday back to Klang. Thursday, IDT. Friday, Klang. Then Yayasan Taklim.
So this was before the luxury of online classes, yeah?
Yeah, correct. So this was before the online sessions. I think 2017 something.
Right.
So there's too much. I consume too much knowledge, but I don't really do muraja'ah. I cannot. What do you call muraja'ah in English? Revision. So I don't do the revision.
Right.
And yeah, just too much. I go to class. I meet people. I think I was on the right track lah.
Okay.
But one thing Sheikh Ibrahim said, they really hit me lah. Macam he said, you know how smart this syaitan in Iblis? They will open you 999 door to goodness, you know, one good, two good, three good. But at the end, actually, the last door is for us to go into that wrong door. So he will plan for us good door. But all that route is actually for the last door is the bad door. So I forgot that actually there's a quote from the.
Yeah, I heard something like you know, like the branches of Iman, there's 60 or 70, right?
Correct.
And the scholar say that on each branches you will find a shaitan waiting.
Correct. So that's why, like, you know, I thought I was on the right track. I joined classes, sunnah classes, all the good classes. I meet good people, but you know, shaitan is very clever. Until one point, I gave up, right? Because I was spiritually, mentally, financially tired.
Exhausted.
I took the bus. I got no car, right? I took the bus. Even my route from Klang to IDT is like 3 hours.
MashaAllah.
So it's tiring. So this is actually also an advice. Take the good things and how do you say that? One step at a time. Yeah.
Okay.
Don't rush things.
Take your meal in a small size, small chunk. I don't know whether got the idiom for the proverb.
Doesn't register.
So yeah. That's why. Just you have to plan things. Don't just do things because you say this is something good and just rush things, right? Even goodness we have to plan. Yeah. Something good.
Is there a magic number of how much repetition you gotta do for each ayat?
I would say no. Okay. My after years of in the Quran industry, right? Then even now I'm telling my students, but they have to be honest lah. There is no magic number, I would say.
Right.
Because every ayat is different. Some of the ayat actually, when you read few times, you can remember. It's very easy because you might heard it somewhere else. I'm not sure in the surah or masjid or audio. Some of the ayat actually you try 100 times is also hard. Yeah. So for me, no magic number.
Okay, that's
just keep on repeating.
Yeah.
But you have to be honest.
Right,
Repeat
right,
until
right.
you really remember.
Right.
Of course, there's the formula from Shinkit, right, from Mauritania. If you repeat 100 times, you can remember for 1 week. If you repeat for 200 times, you can remember for 1 month.
Wow.
If you repeat 500 times, you can remember for 1 year.
Wow.
That's the general formula.
Right.
But now I can say there's no specific numbers.
Okay.
But you have to be honest.
Right.
Yeah, honest. Repeat until you really remember. How do you know like you really remember? You can go anywhere. You just can read the ayat. Anywhere you go, you're driving, you're cooking.
Yeah.
So you're comfortable with the ayat. Even if you got become imam, you can just read. That's the KPI lah, I would say.
So back to the like the motivation part, right?
Yeah.
What keeps you like? Correct.
What's
your drive and what motivates you so much to stick on to this goal despite all those resistance? You know.
Number one, I would say because from where I came from Sabah, right? So Islam there is a bit backdated lah.
Okay.
Yeah. Even the last time back then in my masjid near my house. Even for us to get like a normal tazkirah, right? It's like you can only get that like once a month, tazkirah or ceramah. But when I I first came here, I was like shocked, like a bit shocked.
Too much already.
Yeah, it's too much.
Twice a
They,
day.
Too much.
they have kuliah, yeah, they have kuliah,
I'll take it.
kuliah,
It's okay.
they have kuliah subuh, kuliah duha, you know, like
Right.
ceramah perdana, Isya, after maghrib, after Isya. Masya Allah, here in Semenanjung, there's a lot lah, okay? But back at my place, it's very slow. So my first motivation is I want to actually memorize Quran. I want to get experience here in Semenanjung. I want to actually get to know people like, you know, Syekh Hussein and all the Khaadem brothers, right? So all this experience, I want to gather all this experience. Maybe after 10, 15 years, I want to go back. Actually, I want to berkhidmat for my negeri lah, you know. So because this is my first motivation. That's number one. Number two, actually, of course, for all myself benefit lah. Because you know we heard a lot of hadith and Quran ayat about the benefits of memorizing Quran, right? One of my favorite, there's two actually. The general one, the common one, Iqra'ul Quran fa innahu ya'ti yawmal qiyamah syafi'an li ashabi. So read the Quran because Quran will be our also become our best friend lah in the grave and also the hereafter. Because you know you can leave me, right? All of our friends can leave us, our family will leave us, but Quran will not leave us, you know. They are our real best friend actually. So you know, people always say I'm my bestest friend, and Quran is the bestest ever friend.
So we look at the hadith from perspective of companionship.
Correct.
That's nice.
Yeah.
That's
So
nice.
actually, Quran
we're
is
in this age where people feeling lonely and stuff like that, right? So think about this aspect of the hadith.
Even if you imagine the loneliness of grave, right? So you need a friend. So Quran is the friend.
That's
so
nice.
good.
That's
yeah,
nice.
That's so good.
And number two, of course, one of the hadith also, Iqra wartaki waratil. You will be elevated based on the number of ayat you memorize. For example, if you memorize 20 ayat, so you're like 20 levels above others. So imagine you memorize the whole Quran. So you are that's you know, have special treatment in the. We love that special treatment. Like, you know, when you treated as VIPs.
Right.
Imagine Allah treat you as VIP in the hereafter.
Okay.
So
nice.
yeah, we need that. We really need that. So for our self benefit, we really myself lah. So I actually wanted to finish, but there's a catch lah to that hadith. You have to really preserve it. It's not just you memorize. Okay, guys, I'm finished, alhamdulillah. But you really have to keep it going until you die. Yeah. So it's not just you have finished it, but yeah, dying with that same amount of memorization.
So all that boils down to intention, right? Niyat.
Correct. Yeah.
Having those high aspirations.
Correct. That's why the Prophet says it's really true lah. Innamal a'malu bil khawatim, right? Allah our amal actually Allah looks at the ending also, not just the beginning. The ending is very important. Yeah.
Wow. So speaking of that, right, I just want to get so now we got the intention, we got the high aspiration now. But life happens, right? We're human beings. So this is the struggle that I have. So we've memorized several juz, and then suddenly you go back to say I'm on juz number 8 now, right?
Okay.
And I go to juz number 2 and like, what? Totally
I've never heard
unfamiliar.
of this before.
This feels like totally new, man. And then that breaks me, man. I'm like, I feel
As if you don't remember anything, right?
it's like I'm learning it for the first time. I'm sure. Did you go through this, and how did you get through this? How did you punch through this?
I can say everyone that try to memorize Quran will go through this.
Yeah.
So what I discovered over these years, right, is I can say like I'm not sure. You might start your memorization with the wrong way lah.
Okay.
Yeah. Why I say that, because actually the real technique doesn't, regardless the name, but the real technique is once you memorize, it is supposed to be there like for a long time. For example, if you memorize juz 3, for example, once you finish juz 3, the end result is supposed to be like it's gonna be there for 1-2 years. Supposed to be. So actually, when you memorize that juzuk, you must make sure it's really strong first before you proceed to the next juzuk. So that is why I said the muraja'ah is very important. So like even at our place, before we can go to the next juzuk, we have to have a intensive test first. You have to repeat that juzuk all the time. So even after, like, for example, I have 5 juzuk, right? Before going to the second juzuk, we have the test. They have to read from beginning until the end of juzuk before they can come to the next juzuk. So this continues. even until they've reached Juzuk 5, right? They have to repeat from 1 to 5. So 7, 5 to 10, and 1 to 10.
Gotcha.
So they have to like have this system lah.
Okay.
Or else, because I've tried all the techniques, few techniques. I tried the Indonesian one. I tried here like few other techniques. I can say you will forget if you just tasmih, then murajah a bit, gone.
Right.
So before going to the next juzuk, you must make sure that one is strong enough. How strong? You can just drive and just read it like randomly.
Mashallah, mashallah.
That's strong. Yeah. So if you have reached this level, for example, you leave this juzuk for few months,
Right.
or even 1 year. When you come back, it's not gonna be it's
Complete
easier.
zero.
Right.
It's easier to catch it back
Yeah.
rather than it's not strong.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So I like to, because I can relate a bit to this point, because I'm doing my own half based on my daughters.
Mashallah.
So I just tailor whatever.
So she's the pace setter.
Exactly, she's the patient, because I've been procrastinating for so long.
Okay.
So then my daughter started on the Hafazan
Mashallah.
journey. Yeah,
Nice.
Dad's gonna follow you today now, right? But she does it the proper way. She has gundal. She does need to be like 100 verses. But I don't do it. I'm just that. I don't have the time for this.
Yeah.
So after some time, she finished a few surah, and then every now and then once we meet up and just, okay, test me. Okay, I test her. Then she got it right, and she tests me. Oh, I got everything jumbled up. I said, Dad, you didn't do your gundal. See, I told you gundal. Gundal is like
It's very good. Yeah.
repetition. So you read one ayah, and then you have to repeat it like 50 times, but you got to write it down. I've done it one time. I've done it second time. I've done it third time.
Write it 50 times?
Right. So that's like a logbook. You got to like.
You have to take. Actually, I tried this one. It's also actually very good also.
Wow.
Because they will force you to, repeat until that number they wanted.
So not recite 50 times, write 50 times.
Recite and write. Not to say you write the
You
verse.
take it.
You take it. Yeah. you
So actually, I tried one of the ayat that I actually really hard for me to remember is Surah Al-Ma'idah ayat 3. So it's a half page ayat, right? So actually, I tried this technique for me to I repeat almost 200 times actually.
Wow.
Just for this ayat because it's very hard. Yeah, because some of the ayat, your tongue just cannot get the tone, right? Yeah.
Okay,
Right.
this leads me to another question, like environment, friends, companions. Is it vital to have those conducive environment on your Hafazan journey?
It does help. It does help a lot. But of course, number one is your will actually. If you really want that, regardless with your friends or not, you can actually still achieve. Actually, I want to share one of the sister, one of my ex-classmates from Yayasan Ta'lim. She is until today she is still memorizing. She haven't finished yet. She's the one that take time. She will she memorize, understand, make notes, read the tafsir.
Nice. Solid memorization.
Super solid. This sister, mashallah. Until today, I can see her like her story, right? Super consistent. Almost 5-6 years back, but until today, non-stop.
Wow.
So I'm very jealous, and she's very committed and focused. No one can really disturb her. Even the husband actually supported her through her journey, because, for example, some of the days, because her husband know his time, right?
The demand.
So even the husband sometimes prepare breakfast for her.
Ooh.
So mashallah, I like the support from the kids, from the husband, right?
Mashallah.
So I'm a bit jealous because the way she is, the istiqomah, right? It's very hard. It's very hard.
Subhanallah,
So we ask Allah Subhanahu wa Taala to preserve her and grant her istiqomah until the end.
Amin.
And now may Allah make it easy for us as well.
I mean, everyone.
That reminds me, I think one of the Sahaba, was it Abdullah bin Umar? They took like 11 years for Surah Al-Baqarah or something like that.
Yeah, because
Right? That's the one, right?
he will never go 10 ayat at a time, right?
Yeah.
10 ayat, and he will
Make sure
to
understand.
amal first,
Like you act on it.
act on it first, then he will.
Wow.
Yes, correct.
Wow.
Mashallah.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Mashallah.
Depends on your mission and target lah.
Wow. Now, it's a common question.
Okay.
Memorizing, understanding, Tajweed. Which one first? Why? How? People like, I gotta do this. Yeah. Oh, how can I memorize when Tajweed's all over the place? Yeah. I mean, how do we reconcile this internal battle in our minds? And how did you come to terms with that?
If we, I think it's a good question, because if we follow the scholar, of course, the scholars have their own advice, right? If you follow, like, we have the current scholars, Dr. Aiman Suwaid and all the other scholars, mashallah, one of the great Quran scholar in this world now, of course they will advise to follow steps, Tajweed first, you know, because I agree a bit on this point. Although there's another way I will share in a while, inshallah. Because what I discovered especially in our kids, right, when they memorize Quran with the wrong Tajweed, it's very hard to actually adjust,
right?
Because it's already in the brain.
Yeah. They seared it that way.
Yeah, sometimes it's just your tongue memory, you know.
Sure.
Sometimes the kids just read, it's not from their brain because they are.
Muscle memory.
Just tongue memory. So so this a bit true when they not a bit lah, it's true lah. When they say Tajweed first, then you can start memorize, because it's very hard to really adjust back that memorization. Even me myself, when I finish my memorization, the first thing I do is actually go to one of the sheikh from Egypt to actually check my recitation.
Sure.
So actually there's a lot wrong.
Okay.
Even I have already memorized the ayat, but the tajweed is wrong. So when he
fix
asked me to fix it, took me months actually.
Ooh,
It's not just one day, because I have to, as if I have to re-memorize that.
Right.
So it's always good to get that tajweed first,
Right.
then memorization. Okay, the understanding part is a bit tricky.
Yeah. So you have these like camp hifz and camp tadabbur, right?
Yeah.
So these kids guys like, oh, you guys don't understand anything. You know, what are you memorizing like a robot? And this guy's like, oh, you know, like, how do you do this?
I'm taking my Sheikh Ibrahim, Sheikh Yusuf bin Salah. I think his advice is, mashallah, very nice. He says, if you are a kid, if you just started from a young age, maybe memorization first.
Okay.
And tajweed, not understanding yet, because as a kid, it's a bit hard for you to take all that knowledge at one time. As an adult, if you can do it like simultaneously, memorization and also understanding, that's the best for an adult, because it will help you with your memorization. Because me personally, I started when I was 20, right? I took the Quran that have the word by word translation. So so really, although that Quran is actually banned from the government. I didn't know after actually banned from the I think KDN. But
really?
It was banned because they have that the thing. So coming back to the point, yes, helps me a lot for me, because I need to understand the story. For example, I memorize in the Malay translation. For example, innal ladhina kafaru sawaun alaihim a'anzartahum am lam tunzirhum, Al-Baqarah ayat 6, right? The page number 3. Innal ladhina kafaru. So everything I actually memorized with the story.
Okay.
So in the Malay.
So you had some basic Arabic to complement your
correct.
memorization,
So
you had an appreciation for it.
Correct, because this basic Arabic really helps a lot.
Okay.
Because actually when I first started learning Arabic, this thing memorizing with the translation really helps with the Arabic. So I tried lah. Innal ladina, orang-orang yang kafaru, ingkar, kufur kan, sawaun alaihim.
Right.
It's sama je bagi. So I actually do
You
this.
say basic Arabic is the vocab mufrad, or is it the nahu
Actually,
itself?
actually when you say like this basic Arabic helped me, I can say maybe no, because back then I was just started, right? So actually this technique actually helped me with my Arabic. Rather than Arabic helped me with the memorization, because actually as if I memorized the Quran with translation, as if.
Okay.
It's not like Arabic helped me, but along the way, alhamdulillah, Arabic helped me a lot lah. But at the starting, actually I memorized Quran translation. So when I actually touched me, I remember all the story. Oh, this is the Munafiq story. This is the Kuffar. This is Prophet Sulaiman story. You know, that one really helped, especially that is why for me personally, I'm not sure like the others, the short ayat, the just 26 and above, 27, short one like Ar-Rahman, Alam Al-Quran, is the hardest for me, because very hard for me to connect the stories. It's very short, you know, Ar-Rahman, Alam Al-Quran, Alam Al-Quran.
Right.
Rather than, you know, Wattaba'u ma tatu syaitan, you know, the story interconnected.
Right. There's
easy
a sequence.
For me. The sequence is easier.
Okay.
So me personally, hard for me to memorize the short ayat. That is why some of the scholars also says it depends because my friend said, the short ayat is easy for them. The longer one is harder. But for me, the short one is very hard.
Wow,
super hard.
I think I can relate to
Super
that. Yeah, I think so.
Super hard, subhanallah.
Oh, that's cool.
But I try man. Even until when I do my muraja'ah, the short one is still the hard. harder one. Yeah,
right.
still the harder one.
So I think one of the interesting takeaway points here that I think sometimes people don't see behind the scenes is that different people have different struggles in different ayat, right?
Correct.
So I think like you mentioned Surah Ma'idah verse 3.
Yeah,
That was like the
actually
Kryptonite.
a bit
Yeah,
of
that
tongue
was,
twister, you know. Wal munkhaniqatu wal mawqudatu wal mutaraddiyatu wan, you know, the tongue
Right,
twister. Yeah.
right.
At first my tongue is not familiar with that tone.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But this you know, I would say every hufaz have their own hard surah, right?
Struggles, yeah,
But
yeah.
we have the famous one. I asked a lot of people. I did a lot of interviews.
Oh, so we have the all-time
Yeah.
all-time greats.
Ijma.
Yeah, actually I asked lots of my friends. They always say one of the surah that really hard for them to remember until today is Surah Jinn. Jinn. I'm not sure why. For me, I love the storyline, but for them it's just I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Maybe the structure of the ayat.
That's interesting.
Yeah, they say Surah Jinn is actually a bit hard for us to memorize.
Wow.
Yeah, but when I first started, yeah, I agree. A bit hard lah actually to really start that memorization of that surah.
That's
Because
interesting.
from that particular juzuk, actually I took less time for the other surahs, but Surah Jinn, yeah, it's a bit of time. I took few days.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. I think in Juz Tabarak that is one of the more
Correct.
challenging ones. Yeah. Wow. Okay.
Alhamdulillah.
That's nice to know. Interesting.
Yeah.
Something crossed my mind when you said like if your memorization is really strong, so even if you leave it for a while, then by right, you know, it should be something that it's kind of there, right? You just got to reactivate it, right? So I think we talked about this in our podcast about Quran. So it's kind of like when we sing songs when we're in childhood.
Oh yeah.
So you repeat it so many times. You know, when
Go
you
to the mall.
Correct.
go
right
to
now.
the mall,
automatic,
in
right?
the car, yeah, in the cassettes, right? You go
Yeah,
again
yeah.
and again and again, and you don't listen to this song for 10 years.
Correct.
And
It's
suddenly
just
you go
there,
to the
it's just
mall,
there.
you can remember the full thing, the guitar
Yeah.
solo.
Correct. Actually, I tried to I studied once about this because there's this one time I was asking myself,
Right.
why actually this is song, right? Other thing is movie. Why some of the movie like I've been watching from my childhood,
Yeah, you can remember the quotes.
20 years ago, I can remember the quote, I can remember the storyline, I can remember the exact scene.
Wow.
So I kept on asking myself why. I tried to search in the kitab, I didn't find it, but actually found it from the psychologist actually. So actually, which super true. Everything you do or everything lah, anything that have emotion factor like emotion attached with it,
Right.
you will remember. For example, you can still remember if I ask you what is your that one moment that makes you really angry, you can actually recall that scene in your brain.
Because the emotion's really
Emotion
strong.
yeah, correct. So anything if you do with strong emotions, subhanallah, you can superly remember it. This ayat like Al-Maidah ayat 3, right? Because it was very hard. I actually cried. I cried back then because it's very hard. Then I can still remember that story, that event, how I tried to memorize it. So you know, every ayat. That is why one of the thing why our Prophet and the Sahaba can really Sallallahu grasp all these ayat, right? Because they were there, they saw all the badar thingy. They
So
can
this
say like
ayat
it was
had a
live.
context to them. It
Correct,
meant something
correct,
to them.
yeah. So that's one of the super powerful tips.
Yeah.
Try to do something with emotions.
Wow.
If you cannot do it, you have to create it somehow lah.
Create it, right.
So even like for example, I still remember one of the Surah As-Saf. I cannot forget this ayat until today because the one that taught me this ayat, he passed away, rahimahullah ta'ala. This brother actually, one of the camp I joined, he asked, before camp, there was this like, Arahan, we call it Arahan? Instructions.
Yeah.
Before camp, you have to memorize this ayat. There's only 3 ayat. Surah As-Saf. Ya ayyuhalladzina amanu hal adullukum ala tijarah tunjikum min adzabin alim tu'minu billah until this ayat. 3 ayat he asked me to memorize. So I tried during the camp, alhamdulillah I passed, but the reason I actually cannot forget the day he actually got into accident and passed away. Ghafarallahu lahu. So yeah, you know, when emotion is there, it's very powerful. Any event in your life, does not necessarily mean Quran. Any event that have emotions, you can remember actually. Yeah. So this is a super awesome tips.
Yeah, I love that.
Try to put emotions.
So
into
if I can summarize that, if you want to hack this for our audience, so what we can do is like, I guess if the surah if you learn a class and you get inspired by that surah, that's also an emotional resonance, right?
Correct.
Because that's how that inspired. That's what inspired me to memorize Surah Yusuf actually.
Correct.
I remember I attended this course like, whoa, this surah is super awesome. I have to memorize
the
this.
best surah ever. The best surah.
Oh yeah, you did.
Allah,
Have I?
Allah actually mentioned Ahsanul Qasas.
Yeah.
The best stories among all the
man.
stories.
Yeah. So yeah, I think because when you recite that, you remember what happened in class, remember those things, and
all that events, right?
Yes,
Correct.
yes. So I think
This is one of the hack.
we gotta find our sheikh to give a nice class on Surah
Correct.
Jinn.
MashaAllah. Interesting.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Interesting. Actually, we need that.
yeah. We need to be inspired by the surah, right?
MashaAllah. One of the Barakah effect session maybe.
Yeah. That's not bad.
Inshallah,
That's not
next
bad.
time.
Inshallah.
Actually, this is one of the hack lah, I would say, right?
I love that.
Put emotions into things, especially the one that you want to remember. Yeah, it will be that like long-term memory, you know. It will transfer to your long-term memory.
Yeah.
That's why I remember the brother asked me to memorize the first ayat.
Yeah.
It's like, because I got like emotionally touched there, you know.
Yeah.
So it's very powerful tool. But yeah, I tried actually after knowing this, I tried to put emotions on all the ayats. It's not that easy. There has to be like some events happening, you know. Maybe you have to understand first. So it's not that super easy.
Yeah.
But it's a fact now.
Right.
If you have emotions, you can remember better, inshallah.
Okay, this is a bit of the do's, right?
Yeah.
How about the don'ts? Like, what should we abstain ourselves when we are in this journey of
I'm a bit lenient in this topic. For me, it's very simple. Just keep away from the haram things.
Okay.
I don't really. Of course, food have some effects, but that's not the ultimate lah. But sins have direct impact to our memorization. This is something tested, proven. Everyone knows. If you do sins, maybe not now, maybe not. Like I said, like my clubbing friend, right? He still memorize the Quran. He can, if you can ask.
That's a very difficult image to.
Yeah, but once I can one thing I can say, his life starting to be a bit. He always like have this complaint. His life become harder. Things become harder financially, like family problems.
Okay.
In that sense, the Quran can be there. Maybe the Quran is there.
Sure.
Maybe Allah still want to preserve him. We don't know because one of the story of the Salaf, right? One of the Salaf, he memorized the Quran. He forgot because of one girl.
Yeah.
But Allah retains one ayat in his brain. Yeah. So maybe he still remember the ayat for some reason. We don't know Allah's mercy, right? We never know.
Wow, this has been a great conversation, man. Mashallah. So before we we would like to hear from you some closing sort of like tips for our listeners and audience out there on memorizing the Quran as an adult. But before that, just tell us a bit more about Akar and promote to us and what that's about and how we can, maybe for our listeners out there interested to know more and send their children there.
Jazakallah khair for the question. So about Akar, So Akar Academy, as I mentioned, we have a few things going on. We offered. Number one, of course, our main course is the Quran program, the Tahfiz, because we believe anyone, Ibn Qayyim said the same thing. Whoever masters the Quran, Allah will open door for the other knowledge. I think one of the quote from Ibn Qayyim, I can share later on, inshallah. Man ittakhadha al-Quran manhajan, anyone who take Quran as the way, masters the Quran first,
Right.
all the other doors, inshallah, will be easier. So I actually tried this with my exams, right? I scored all of them just by this. That's because I actually get my brain stronger with the Quran, right? Alhamdulillah.
I like that one.
Yeah.
So what's the age range again for the Akar?
Akar actually at the moment we are opening for primary and secondary school.
Secondary as well.
Secondary as well.
that's
Until
rare.
17.
Okay. Mashallah.
But yeah, we are planning to open our Tahfiz online also.
Okay.
But this time around we want to put a bit of better structure because we tried last time, right? Now we have seen the results. We have tried. So the experimental period, khalas, and settled. Alhamdulillah.
Okay.
Now is the real thing lah, I would say.
Great.
So yeah. Then
So online means like all ages.
all ages. Actually, most of our online students is the professionals,
Adults.
all the adults. Only few like small kids.
Right.
Yeah. So we designed this program also for the adults.
Nice.
Yeah. Then of course we have also our academics. Parents can choose either to take IGCSE or SPM.
Okay.
This is actually quite a bonus because every route IGCSE or SPM, international and national curriculum, they have their own benefits, pros and cons, I would say. So one of the biggest pros of benefit of IGCSE, you can take as early as 14 the exam. So actually few of our students, even few of our jemaah here at Khaadem, they entered university when they were like 16, The normal route SPM you have to take after 17, 18, 19, right?
Wow.
But with IGCSE, Cambridge curriculum, you can go into university when you're like 15, 16, 17.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So even so because one of the best part about IGCSE, you can like take multiple seats. For example, this year you can just take 3 subject. Next year like another 4 subject.
Okay, so these options are all there.
Parents can choose. We will give a briefing which the pros and cons first, right?
Okay.
Then they can discuss with the kid. Then we can choose, and also they can choose the route lah. For example, they want to become doctor. This is the subjects offered. They want to become like engineer. This is the subjects offered.
It's pretty customizable.
Yeah.
You mean just for SPM for IGSE?
Both. You can like self-craft because even SPM. The fact is SPM. Of course, they have the basic requirement like BM, like sejarah, or the wajib subject, right? But actually, you can actually craft which route. Even last time in the government, you have the aliran agama, science, accounting, right? It's something there lah. You just need to choose.
Cool. So do those the elective ones are also being offered in Akar, yeah?
Yeah. So parents can like craft their child's journey lah, I would say in a way.
Mashallah.
Yeah. Then of course we have Islamic studies, which we think is super important because we will learn there like about akidah, about the fiqh, about the hadith, akhlaq, adab, all that stuff. Additional to all these academics, they need all this Islamic knowledge also for them like to, because when our hope from Akar Academy, right, when our students like graduated, we want them to have like that Islamic values, that akhlaq, like to spread that lah.
I think the word you say is holistic, right?
Holistic,
that's the term you.
Of course, lastly, the fun part lah, I would say, because I also handle the fun part. Actually, all our extracurricular is also quite fun because alhamdulillah now especially now, we have a lot of Academy program also that we collaborate with Akar. So for example, we have the perfecting my solat and all the things. Our parents, our students can join all the Academy program. So we integrate Academy in our school also in a way that collaborate in that way. And also I mentioned we have that national standard coaches.
Right.
Actually, me myself, I join all the trainings. I actually play with the kids. Actually, I go to the jogging, all the routine. I have to join because I personally believe when I also do the same thing as a teacher, right?
Yeah.
It gives an extra impact. That might not be the Barakah effect, but extra impact to the kids because when they see a teacher also struggles, try to train, So actually, I tried the volleyball. I played soccer with them. Only just badminton because the time clash, right? but I always tried lah because in the school, so my kids know lah. They basically I'm the king there lah. So I'm the best chess player there. I'm the best. I tried to be the best of everything because I want to show example. Even last time actually I jog a lot, jogging and all, running. But I stopped for almost 2 years due to some reason. But I plan to restart again and planning to join like the marathon.
Wow.
Inshallah. Inspired by my dad because my dad like already 60. He finished the marathon. Mashallah.
Wow.
Penang marathon. So
Subhanallah.
my dad just start like 1 kilo. Same the marathon. One of the reason actually I taught my student marathon journey and Quran journey is almost the same.
Really?
My dad start 1 kilometer a day, then 5, 10. Quran same thing. It's like we have half page a day. You can go like 1 page a day because the muscles, improve. So the journey like even if you want to go like the full marathon, you have to like preparation, trainings, similar like the Quran journey. Something you have to do, keep on going. Because running, if you stop running, stamina is gonna be gone. Same the Quran. If you stop memorizing, it can be gone.
So about Akar, the location is a bit far away from the city. So how is it like? Is it like boarding for all ages? Or?
We have boarding school and our main program is a boarding school because
the main program is a boarding school, even for the 7-year-olds.
Correct, because actually we suggest 10 years and above to join our boarding school because we have we had 7 and 8 years old. Because if they can, how do you say, berdikari?
Independent.
Independent. If they can have that
they
skill,
can handle
if they can develop, they can try first.
Right.
If cannot, we advise the parent to not to send yet, because personally, I still believe as a small kid,
Sure.
you need extra time with your parents. You know,
Okay.
they want to play around with the parents. That family value is also, because you know the thing about boarding is they always say is taking your family value, but I don't think so, because at our place we let our kids call their parents every week. Also have that visit session, because we don't want that because last time when I used to the boarding system last time lah, they always said, oh, if you go boarding, your parents just leave you there. After a few months they come back. For us, no, we want that continuation of that relationship. So that our students must call their parents every week, ask them to make dua, you know, all just update things. Yeah. So yeah, it's a bit far. It's session 30 Shah Alam, Jalan Kebun. Yeah. So even we have some of the parents that taking the daily school came from Damansara.
No way.
So
So it's like one hour drive.
yeah.
Wow.
It's really jam, because but these moms are not working, right, so they have that time lah.
Is it a single session school or is it?
What do you mean?
I mean the schooling hours, is it only in the morning?
Yeah, until after Zohor. The academic part lah. Because after Zohor at night is more like on the extracurricular, and also the like night is more to the prep and Quran preparation for tomorrow.
So actually,
tomorrow.
you know, something crossed my mind. So you say if some do send on a daily basis, right? So on the way, that's when the parents also can do their memorization, right?
Yeah.
Ooh, right.
Actually, this is one of the. I'm not sure in the parenting. I have a kids also, right? In the parenting point of view, actually, if the parents struggle, right, to memorize Quran, the kids will follow, you know.
Right.
Yeah, because you know we have our kids, right? So actually, when we do something in the routine, for example, my daughter, I every time I go to the masjid, she wants to follow. So actually, so imagine you try to memorize. The kid, your daughter, your son, if they see you trying, putting effort to memorize Quran, mashallah, you can see the effect for the kids. They will also struggle.
It's different when you like tell them to do something. Like you sit on the sidelines, right? If you're working with
same,
them.
Same like the parents. Stop smoking, and she's smoking. Similarly,
Right.
Allah, similarly.
Right,
Even the
right.
Quran. So
So
this
it's
is one
like-
of the thing hits me also.
Right.
As a parent, we have to show example, right?
I think looking at it from the kid's perspective as well, like Ami was saying, like, say your daughter is memorizing and then like she's beating him, you know, that kind of thing. Like instant empowers him, like, hey, dad, you know?
Back up, Dad. Back up.
She's setting the pace, right? It's something good actually. It's a good thing.
It's a memory, right?
Correct.
Again, the emotion thing, right?
Emotion,
so she'll grow up. I mean, our children will grow up, inshallah, with that memory. Like, oh yeah, you know, I'm with this with my dad, you know. But but
We are fighting this together.
Miles away.
We are fighting this together, right?
Yeah, I like that. They were in this together. Yeah,
This is a plus point for parenting skills. One of the parents.
Awesome.
Alhamdulillah.
I love that. So yeah, I mean, let's anything last? Any last questions or any last things you want to share to our listeners?
Yeah. So the topic is about the memorization, right? So my advice for myself and for the people out there, if you have already started memorizing the Quran, keep the wheels rolling, because in the end, one of the ayat of the Quran, right, Allah in Surah Furqan, Allah is talking about those who are abandoning the Quran, right? This is a common question I get. Ustaz, if I stop muraja'ah, am I like sinful?
Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
So this question for me is quite straight. The answer is quite straightforward. If you purposely abandon the Quran, right, you like with the intention, I don't want anymore, that can be sinful. Okay. But if you forgot as a human, it's normal.
If you get distracted,
that's not sinful. Okay. But if you tell yourself,
I don't want this.
I'm gonna stop.
GG.
Alas, Quran is over in my life. That one can be sinful.
Okay.
Allah is also mentioned in Surah Furqan, right?
Yeah.
Those the ummah that actually abandon the Quran.
So I like you mentioned that because sometimes people when they use this as like they don't even want to start.
Correct.
Because they fear that if
Yeah,
I
yeah.
abandon this, right? Oh, that's it, man.
Correct,
I'm
correct.
I don't want to be,
Correct,
add more
nah.
extra burden.
Yeah.
I'm already sinful as it is. I don't need this extra baggage.
This is one of the famous wrong mindset, I would say.
Okay.
Very famous. Even among the Hufas, right? Allah, if I memorize more, then I get questioned more by Allah SWT.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like
but it has to do with the balance lah.
Okay.
Of course, by the fact that you are aging also, Allah is it's something you cannot. Better to take this thing as a, change it like into positive lah.
So if I may add, I think it's aging, right? Because I want to echo what you said, because Quran strengthens everything else. And I said the memorization is a muscle. So if you keep going at, then inshallah it will strengthen your other parts as well.
Correct.
So if you want, people talk about preventing Alzheimer's and so on, right? It's all about, if you don't put this to use,
Correct.
and then that's, your body's going to realize, I don't really need this muscle anymore, right?
Correct.
So if you do that through Quran becomes the means that you're strengthening this. And inshallah everything else will be good.
Inshallah. I hope I can share about that. I am currently studying this this topic, like, does the Hufas have Alzheimer kan? When they get older. I'm actually trying to
Do let
study
us
this
know about this. Yeah, it's a very
Ah,
interesting
yeah.
topic.
because I
Look
haven't
at
met
this.
any Hufas that have Alzheimer, but I want like to be like a strong fact, right? I want to like have proper study.
Yeah, because anecdotal evidence says that elderly people who read a lot, inshallah, it prevents their
Tun Mahathir,
Indeed,
yeah,
that's right.
yeah, because they keep their mind active, right?
Yeah.
The problem is as we get older, it's like, I'm getting older, I don't want to read anymore.
Yeah,
this
go fishing,
is
that's
for
it.
you young guys. You go, yeah.
Because I never heard of our scholars, right? The Salaf have this Alzheimer thing. Never
cool,
happened in
man.
in the story.
Wow.
Even in the long history of the Salaf, yeah. So I'm trying to study this also.
Something to think about. That's amazing.
Yeah. So number one, of course, keep on doing it until the end. Until the end, it's a non-stop thing. If you cannot do 1 juzuk a day, do half juzuk. If you cannot half juzuk, maybe 10 page, 5 page.
Right.
The least is at least one ayat, or the very least lah. At least have something in your daily life with the Quran. At least have something with the Quran every single day.
Okay.
And it's different when it's two different thing. Situation number one, you give specific time for Quran. Like for example, 10 minutes a day.
Okay.
And you just
slot it in.
slot it in.
Right.
And the second one, you just trying to find any free time, and Allah will give you better ajar with the first one.
The first one.
The best time for the Quran.
Yeah. So you have to like put specific time.
Right.
There's one hadith about this. I forgot already. Kata Allah, but actually very powerful reminder.
Right.
Because if you give your time for Allah, Allah will give time for you.
MashaAllah.
If you are okay lah for Quran, okay, only free time, So the way we are treating the Quran is as macam secondary thing. So try to put it as a something, because that's our strength as a Muslim.
Right.
Quran is our one of our main strength actually.
MashaAllah.
So number two, I have 3 on training. Number 2, for those who just or want to start memorizing, that is the term too late is not supposed to be there. Our Prophet started 40. The aunties I mentioned 49. There's a lot of and then the way they ended their life is better than those who started earlier.
Right.
So
The mindset here is like what you said, right? It's trained and untrained.
Yeah,
So it's not that you're too old.
Correct.
You're just untrained
Trained, yeah.
as of now. And we can change
correct.
that.
It's
I
something
like
you
that.
can change.
I like that.
And I think even in the mindset, like, you can actually learn anything you want. You can learn any language. You can learn any skills, right?
That's true,
It's
huh?
not age factor. It's just you want it or not, right?
Right.
Yeah.
There's a term we use a
Mindset.
lot. It's called the growth mindset.
Growth mindset. mashallah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're very important to remember that Allah will not judge you based from what your starting is, right? But rather from your ending lah. Yeah. How do you end your life is much very important.
Yeah.
We have seen a lot of people, alhamdulillah, in our life. Their starting is not that bright, but their ending, mashallah.
MashaAllah.
We have seen a lot of this, even in the Salaf, the scholars.
So something just crossed my mind as you said this. Sometimes we have this fear in our minds. We always overthink, right? That's the problem with us, right? So we always do things like, oh, mommy, only now you want to start. This kind of thing. People fear that's judged. But if you see somebody who starts, let's say, take SPM or high school or take a degree when he's like 40 years old,
Correct.
you respect the guy, right?
Correct.
Wow, this guy's got the courage to do
Yeah,
that, right? But why is when it comes to Quran, we're like, people would judge me.
Yeah,
You mean you don't know how to recite Surah An-Naba?
Correct.
You see, Shaitan does?
Same thing, when I first came to my Tafiz,
Yeah.
I didn't memorize Juz 30, So my Tafiz friend actually used to laugh at me. You don't memorize this surah? Even when one of the early days when I first learned Islam, right, 16, 17,
Yeah.
I actually felt to read Surah Al-Falaq, in one of the camp. So they asked me to read Surah Al-Falaq, I couldn't.
Wow.
So because that was my starting point, then they laughed. But I didn't take that personally.
Okay.
So I just took
That's
that.
also the key.
Yeah,
Don't take
I
things
just took that.
personally.
Okay, I'm just starting. That's one of the thing also. Don't really take people's word too much, yeah.
Right.
Because in the end, when you finish, then you know what they say.
I came across a question actually. Someone asked Sheikh Sulaiman Rohaili. He likes to. He's passionate about Quran, but he gives like 1,001 excuses. I'm old. I'm this. I'm busy. Then Sheikh Sulaiman they said this. Wallahi, if you're honest with Allah, Allah will get you there.
Correct.
If you're honest with Allah, Allah will get you there.
MashaAllah. Yeah, actually, I met him last year.
MashaAllah.
I went to Umrah. So, MashaAllah, it's just random. I was not planning to meet him because after Fajr, I was actually planning to go back to my room, my hotel, because my daughter was sick. But suddenly I heard this voice, super similar. I've heard this voice somewhere.
So maybe saying Fajr or Asar?
Fajr.
Okay.
After Fajr, one of the number, I forgot the number, right? Then I was switching, and then Sheikh Rohaili is there. Sulaiman, MashaAllah. Because I when I first learned Arabic, I always listen to his lecture. His Arabic is slow and easy, simple.
Yeah.
So yeah, one of if you want to learn Arabic, he's one of the good lecture to hear lah.
He must be some kind of wali.
MashaAllah. Super, yeah. So yeah, always believe. I personally believe with the late bloomers, I would say. There's a lot of the late bloomers,
Right.
and their ending is better than the one started first.
I
MashaAllah.
love that. Yeah.
And then the last one is if you are struggling, maybe somewhere at the middle.
Sorry. Late bloomers can get better. At the other hand, becoming an early adopter, as you said, you also see them declining over the years. So it's not a sign or whatever. Just start wherever you are.
Correct.
Okay.
Because we have the one started first. Of course, there can be someone much way better at the end, right? Our scholars.
Yeah,
MashaAllah.
they got a head start, right?
I'm trying to say you can just start anywhere.
Yeah.
Because there's too much stories that people start late. Our Prophet is our greatest example. He started 40, but turns out become the best human in the world only by 23 years. Half of his life, not even there, doing the Quran,
Yeah.
So, MashaAllah. So it's something for us to always reflect, be honest with ourselves. Be honest. And the last one is, if you are the one who's struggling to start, struggling at the middle, struggling at the end, always remember Allah always give extra ajr, extra reward for those who struggle. There's a lot of hadith.
Nice.
There's a lot of
like
hadith.
that,
Yeah,
yes.
there's a lot of
We haven't
hadith.
mentioned that so far. After all this 1 hour,
Those who struggle
I like
always
that.
get the extra ajr lah, I would say.
It's a hadith, right? If you're one who's struggling,
Yeah.
will get 2 rewards.
Yeah, falahu ajran. Yeah, he get
ajran,
twice. Yeah,
right.
Because he struggles and also he reads. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the angel will be the one who recite and memorize the Quran, right?
Safaratul Kiram, right? The
Safaratul
angels
Kiram.
would be the one with
Yeah,
the
hadith
the
and
expert in
those
Quran,
who are
right?
al-mahir, expert, good in the recitation, he will be at the level of the angels.
The angels,
But
right.
those who struggle, they get double the reward.
Yeah.
Double from the first one because
First
he is
one, yeah.
the ajr or the reward for struggling,
Right.
and the reward for reading itself. MashaAllah. So
right.
we have to be jealous. I mean, both parties have benefits, right?
Right. Of course, they'll get slower pace because they're struggling with
Correct.
it. And I think the other one to note is that there's no job in the world that
Correct.
tells you that if you're struggling with your job, I give you double pay.
Correct.
No way, man.
Only from Allah. Only from Allah.
Correct. Yeah. Even some of the special months, maybe Ramadan they have triple, like 7 times 4.
There you go.
Mashallah.
So the
You
bonus
struggle
is
with that, it's double
correct,
some more from that.
So yeah.
You're not good, no worries. Double the
Yeah.
double the pay.
So either you're struggling at the starting, struggling at the middle, struggling at the ending. Struggle will give you extra bonus.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
and
start the struggle
It's
now.
one of the biggest blessings from Allah SWT.
Alhamdulillah. Wow.
Alhamdulillah.
Inshallah.
Yeah. Alright.
Mashallah, it's been enlightening to hear
Yeah,
from you.
Alhamdulillah.
That was awesome, mashallah.
Inshallah, yeah.
Wow, that was 1.5 hours.
Oh, really?
Like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you guys have another podcast after this?
Inshallah.
Okay, so brothers and sisters, that ends our podcast discussion on our topic today. So we say Jazakallah khairan to Ustaz Zul. So how was your first podcast session? How was that?
Actually, quite very fun actually. Calming also with you guys.
Oh, yeah.
I thought it was something
You sounded like a
super
pro. You
serious.
sound like a
No,
like seasoned.
This
Yeah.
is my first time
First time.
ever in
Oh,
my life.
here we go.
Especially in English.
So now we open the door.
Oh, alhamdulillah.
Inshallah, will not be the last.
Yeah. Actually, because I struggle a bit with English because I never have this
It's kind of discussion.
discussion, especially in English.
Awesome, man. Mashallah.
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. Allah made it easy for us. So, Alhamdulillah. So, I hope this inspires all of us to start our journey to memorize Quran wherever we are, whether we are new, whether we are halfway, whether we're nearing experts. Alhamdulillah. So, may Allah Azza wa Jal give us the istiqamah to stay steadfast on this path. And may Allah Azza wa Jal make us all amongst those who attempt with consistency.
Ameen.
And may Allah Azza wa Jal make us those who memorize His book, act upon it, and convey it to others.
Ameen.
Ameen. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik wa nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta wa nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilaik. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.